Hi, everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. I know you hear it in my voice. I've been battling this for about 4 months. I don't know what's wrong. I've been to 3 different doctors. I've got another one coming up. They've done endoscopies. They've done the looking at down through my nose and all of this stuff, and there's no physical reason for this that they see. So anyway, I had a decent volume today, so I thought, I'm just going to tape, and we're going to do the best we can. So forgive my voice and overlook it if you can, please. Today, we are going to make a bacon apple-wrapped chicken. To go along with that, we are going to make some rosemary potatoes, and we're going to have a butterscotch cake for dessert. And that is actually where we're going to get started. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. In this bowl, I have 1 box of just a yellow cake mix. That's all that's in there. It's just a simple little yellow cake mix. In this bowl, I have some milk, and I have 1 pack of instant, not the cook and serve, but instant butterscotch pudding. And I'm just going to mix the pudding mix first with the milk with a little hand mixer, just to kind of make it a little easier. Just going to mix this up. Okay. Then we are going to pour this mixture into our dry cake mix. Do keep some extra milk on hand because you might possibly need to add it. It really kind of just, depends on the humidity in the room that you're in that particular day. Now we're going to just mix this. I'm going to do it with my mixer. I don't know what I was thinking. All right. Just going to mix this up with my little hand mixer. You don't have to use a hand mixer if you want to just use your spatula or spoon, whatever you normally do when you're mixing cake batter. Scrape down the sides so that you get all the batter or all of the cake mix in there. Okay, I'm going to turn it up just a little. Make sure you beat it well and you get all of the cake mix incorporated with the milk mixture. Now, we're going to add about 1/2 cup, measure with your heart, of butterscotch chips. And I'm not going to mix those in. I'm just going to kind of hand stir those in just with a spatula. Not a spatula, a spoon type thing. Anything will work. Okay. Then we need I chose pecans because that's what I had. Use what you have. You could use walnuts, you could use almonds, or you could leave the nuts out if you want. These are halves, and I want them in small pieces. So I'm just going to use a meat mallet. If you don't have a meat mallet, you could use a rolling pin. You can use whatever you have to, break down the nuts. You could even chop them if you wanted with a knife. That'd be fine too. You just want them to be in smaller pieces, and then put those in your mixture. I love butterscotch. My mother loved butterscotch. It was one of her favorite flavors, butterscotch and pistachio. She loved those 2 flavors. All right, now I'm using a 9 by 13 inch pan which is what I want to do. You could use, I'm spraying it with just some nonstick baking spray. Okay? If you wanted to make this into muffins, you could totally do that. Or, you know, like a bundt cake pan would be good. And then you want to put your mixture in there. Have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. If your batter is really, really thick, which can happen sometimes, I honestly, you know, it truly depends on the humidity in your room. If you need to thin it out just a little bit, just add some more milk. That'll be fine. All right. I like these little, I don't know what that is. I guess not plastic. It's a silicone-y type material. Spread out your cake into an even layer. Okay, get all that off your spoon. Hope we hold out. Seriously, my voice can go from good to bad in 5 minutes. I have had a perfect voice, strong, and 5 minutes later it's gone. So, all right, let's pop this in a 350-degree oven. About 30 minutes, and that'll be good. All right, I'm going to clean up here, get everything over in the sink. When I come back, we're going to get started on the chicken, the bacon wrap. Chicken is so good. So stay tuned, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, and welcome back. We are going to make a delicious chicken recipe. Now, this is one, if you want to do it in your slow cooker, you can, or you can do what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to do it in the oven, but if you have a slow cooker and you want to use it, you want to have this, do it in the morning and pop it in the slow cooker, head off to work or whatever you've got to do, and put it on low, and then when you come home that evening, your dinner's going to be done. Or you can do it in the oven like I'm going to do. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I have in my bowl just some barbecue sauce, some store-bought barbecue sauce. Use your favorite, whatever brand or kind you like. There are so many different barbecue sauces out there. And then you're going to need 1 Granny Smith apple, and we're actually going to grate the apple into our barbecue sauce. Now, you can use a box grater like this one if you want, and use the big holes, or if you have the handheld microplane one, I like this one because I can just grate it over the bowl. It has a little gripper there, so you can just place it on there and then grate the apple. I don't peel mine, I just washed it. If you want to peel it, you can. That'll be fine. But you want to grate it into the sauce, and you want the tartness of the Granny Smith. Of course, you could use any, kind of apple that you like, but I really do prefer the tartness of Granny Smith. For this, I like to grate it down to the core. The apple's not only going to provide moisture, it's going to provide a flavor. It's going to add to the dish. And, we're of course using bacon and chicken and apples go together so well. I do another dish I haven't done it in years on the show, but it's an apple butter bacon chicken dish. Oh, it's so good. We're just going to grate the apple. Yeah, it's time consuming. And yeah, your hand gets tired, but it's worth it in the end. I don't have things pre-done on this show. I like you to see what I'm doing and the fact that you can do it in your home. I don't have things pre-cooked. I don't have it chopped, so I want you to see how easy this comes together. Be careful with your knuckles. You know, you don't want to grate your knuckles, which is another reason why I really do like this kind, because I think I've grated one too many knuckles on the box grater. And anybody that's ever used one of those knows what I'm talking about. So we want to get all of that apple into our bowl. It smells so good. I love that fragrance of the apple. I think it tastes so good. Now, to that, we are going to add the juice of a lemon, and I like to roll my lemon on my board first before I juice it. You release the cells inside. You kind of burst those little cells, and you get more juice that way. And a room temperature lemon will also give you more juice. If it has these little pointy tips on the end, I like to cut those off if I'm using my juicer, which I always do, because I think that hinders the thing from getting down in there. And another thing, make sure you put cut side down. I know the bowl looks like that. You would want to do that, but you want to do it cut side down. And then just squeeze it, or however you get your lemon juice. I really do like these squeezers. I used to use a wooden ream and loved it, but you had to strain out the seeds. If you have one of these little gadgets, you don't have to strain out the seeds because it catches the seeds. Okay, now we're going to stir all that together and set it aside. The lemon juice will also prevent the apple from turning brown. It smells so good. Now we're going to get started on the chicken. And I want to put on some gloves here because this gets a little messy. If I was at home, I wouldn't do that. But for the purpose of the TV show, I will. These gloves are a little big, but they'll work. I have little hands. All right. Now, I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I'm using a little 8x8-inch pan. And then you're going to need some bacon. You're going to need about 3 pieces per chicken. So I want to get out the bacon I'm going to use and separate it because I don't want the raw chicken on the other bacon. All right, now if your chicken breasts are a little bit thick, you just never know if they're going to be thin or thick. So if they are, I would, cut them in half. But these are not too bad. I'm not going to use salt and pepper on the chicken because the barbecue sauce is salty. The bacon is really salty. If you want to salt it at the end, you can. I will add some pepper, though. I'm a big pepper person, as you know. I'm going to put a little bit in here. I'm also going to put just a little bit before I touch that chicken with this hand. I am going to just put a little bit on there. Now, what you want to do is take your barbecue sauce mixture and pour it in the bowl. Okay. Then we're going to take each chicken breast and kind of roll it in the sauce just to kind of coat it a little bit. You're not going to use all the sauce. We just want to get a little bit on there because we're going to cover it with bacon. you know. Then you want to take, it depends on the size, 2 to 3 bacon pieces per chicken breast. This one we'll use 2. And then put it in the sauce, nestle it in there. And you're going to repeat that on all your little chicken pieces. You see what I mean about it? Gets a little messy, but that's okay. We don't care. Looks like these are all going to use 2. They're going to be squished together. Okay. This will add, chicken breasts can be a little dry. So of course the bacon is going to add a lot of moisture through the drippings that come out. And it's going to be delicious, I'm just telling you. I love bacon. To me, it just is one of the best flavors in the world. Nestle it in however you need to. I think what I'm going to do is put this one here. And then we're going to pop this, take a little bit of that sauce if you want, that squeezes up there, and just put it on top. You could take the sauce off your board and scrape it on top, whatever you want to do. We're going to put this in a 350-degree oven. It's going to take about 30 to 35 minutes, or until the chicken is cooked all the way through. So I'm just going to pop this in the oven, clean up my board, wash my hands, and when I come back, we're going to get started on the potatoes. I'll be back in just a minute. All right, welcome back. Now our chicken is in the oven and our cake is in the oven and my voice is about to go. I made myself a cup of hot tea, English breakfast tea. I love hot tea, with some honey. Hoping we can get through this. I have here some potatoes that I've peeled, and I'm going to cut them into about, an inch size piece, and I'm going to drop them in some cold water. These are red potatoes. If you don't have red potatoes, you could use the yellow ones or the russets, either one. Russets are going to break down a little more than these because they're starchier. And, that's why they're so good for fluffy mashed potatoes, is because they break down a little bit, the starches. I need a drink. Hold on just a minute. Okay, I'm going to cut these and get them in the water to cook. They'll cook in about 10 minutes, and then we'll finish them on the stove with a skillet and some. Gonna be delicious. I love potatoes. It's kind of one of those things that most people like. Not everybody, I guess, but most people do like potatoes. Forgive me for clearing my throat. I know that's not good for my vocal cords, but I left one to peel. I use a knife. I have a trash can right here. A lot of people use a peeler. I find I cut myself more with the peeler than I do with a knife. I just grew up using a knife. My mother never used a peeler for anything, I don't think. I had washed these prior, so they're fine. You can leave the skins on if you want to. Up to you. So we're going to get those on the stove. I'm not going to add any salt. until the water comes up to a boil. Always, always, always start your potatoes in cold water. If you put them in boiling water, I mean, they'll still cook, but you get like a fuzzy outside of your potatoes. So I'm just going to pop these on the stove and cook them and drain them. And when we come back, I will show you how to finish them up. And our chicken and our cake should be done. So I will be back in just a minute. All righty, welcome back. Now I have a skillet here that I'm going to put on my eye. The potatoes are cooked and I drained them. I'm going to put some butter in my skillet, a couple, maybe 3 tablespoons or so, as much as you want. I'm also going to add just a teeny tiny bit of oil, not much, just a little bit. I'm going to let that melt. I have my potatoes here. Let that get good and melted. Our chicken is cooking. It smells so good. The cake is done. Now that cake, our butterscotch cake, does not have a frosting. If you wanted to put a frosting or maybe sprinkle it with some powdered sugar, you can. I am a strange person when it comes to cake. I prefer mine without frostings. I am going to add a little bit of salt because we have not seasoned the potatoes. I'm also going to add some pepper, and I'm going to add some rosemary. Now, if you have fresh, you could use fresh. I just have dried, about a tablespoon. I like to take it and, maybe rub it between my fingers or between my hands to kind of release the oils of the rosemary. It kind of makes a mess, but that's okay. Then we're going to put our drained potatoes in our skillet. What I want to do here is coat the potatoes with the butter and the rosemary and the salt and the pepper. And I kind of want to let them just maybe get a little bit crispy. I'm not aiming to fry them up like you would fried potatoes. That's not at all what I'm doing here. But if one side gets crispy, that's fine. Just make sure that they are all coated with the butter and the herbs, the seasonings. If you need to add some more butter, feel free, you can. Matter of fact, I think I may just go ahead and put the rest of this butter in there. I love butter. I mean, I really think everything tastes better with butter. And I have been working on, and I think I have it perfected. And I'm going to do it in an upcoming program. I love French butter. If you've never had French butter, you don't know what you're missing. It's got a higher butter fat to it, and it has a tang to it that American butter does not. So I saw somebody do this, and I've kind of tweaked it from what they did because it wasn't quite what I wanted. But if you add a couple of ingredients to your heavy whipping cream and then whip it up, it is delicious. I'm telling you, it tastes like French butter at a fraction of the cost, because unless you are at a store that sells French butter, which where I live is non-existent. I've looked everywhere. You got to get it shipped, and the shipping is ridiculous. So it's just not affordable that way, but you can make it yourself. And we're going to do that in an upcoming show. It really is very, 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 very good. Now, let's just let this kind of hang out for a minute. Let's go to the oven and check our chicken. We got to take its temperature. I have an instant read meat thermometer here. Ooh. Oh, looks so good. Well, I guess it would help if I turned it on, wouldn't it? That would help. Let's see if she's ready. You want to take it from the inside, and it is. So let's take our chicken out, and we will serve it up. It looks amazing. Our potatoes are done. Everything is good. So let's make our plate. I'm going to chop a little parsley. Let me put my tea out of the way. We are going to serve up our chicken. Oh, well, the bacon fell off. That's okay. We'll fix it for plating. Might even pop it back in there and get that other side broiled up, like this top. Put some of your sauce on there. You can turn it over if you want and crisp up the bottom half of the bacon. We are going to serve up a little bit of our potatoes on our plate. All right. And we have a delicious meal. So good. Let's get that bacon on there. Oh, yum. I love bacon. I am going to chop just a little bit of parsley, just for looks, and it does add a little flavor. My store did not have Italian parsley, which is what I prefer. But I got some curly parsley. It's not the same. My world has no flavor, but it does look pretty. So we will put a little bit of curly parsley on there. Just chop it up a little bit is all you want, not a lot. So there's our dinner. You could add a green salad if you wanted to, or green beans. Roasted green beans would be delicious with this if you want to add another vegetable. Here is our cake. The cake needs to cool for a few minutes. I'll get it up here so you can see it before we slice into it. But oh, it's so good. It took about 35 minutes to cook. You insert a toothpick in the center, and if it comes out clean, then you know your cake is done. So there you go. A quick, easy, really pretty much hands-off. You could cook this in the crock pot if you wanted. You could cook the potatoes in the crock pot if you wanted. And not together. I wouldn't do that together, but if you have two crock pots. Our delicious butterscotch cake, our bacon-wrapped chicken, and our delicious little rosemary potatoes. Thank you for joining with me, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.